we have here some newly acquired second-hand bumpers, which need a bit of tidying up. So we've got a bit of a dent here, which I won't do much about. More importantly, we've got quite a lot of rust on the inside of both. So what happens here? So for the conversion, from what I can make out, there are a number of bits that need to take place. We've got the little corner units. There are little little units that I need to buy which connect this or hide the gap between this and that made out piece. At the front I need to do some welding and stuff. We'll work through all of that later, but for right now, if we look at these bumpers, what we're going to do, and the connectors to the car are different, and I don't have those, so I've got to order those. So I've got a number of things that I do need to order, including a grill. But I think instead of spending over £1,000, I should be able to do it for about 500 in total, maybe 400. So that's what we're aiming to do. So first step is take these bolts off, this stuff, off both, and indeed this one in here, these. So we'll get those off. Then we will start doing rust converter and stuff like that to try to clean it up a bit inside, stop it getting worse. We'll paint the inside with some silver paint once we've got the rust converter on there, and from there we will then move on to trying to clean up a bit, although that can be done once it's on the car as well. And we can start doing stuff around, installing them. I haven't been able to find a good video on installing, so hopefully I'll take mine through step by step so that other people can see what we're doing. Right, it feels a bit cold out here tonight, and it's miserable out. I need to, a bunch of things I should be doing, but I can't really motivate myself, so I'm going to do something fairly trivial. I'm going to just try a bit of polish on this and work around it a bit and see how it comes out. So we'll just have a look at it. I've tried getting these brackets off and everything's so rusted solid, I think I'm going to have to cut through and buy new. But let's see what it looks like with a bit of polish. Okay, so it hasn't cleaned up really quite as nicely as I'd hoped. Still got an awful lot of pitting in here, and I was at it for a while, so I don't particularly see this coming out now. More importantly though, I managed to remove this bracket here, which goes on here. That'll be replaced with a new one for the conversion, so that's good. And the bolts out of both of these came out, so from here and here we got the bolts out. The one going through here, so we've managed to sort that out. On the other side, the one that goes through there, I'm afraid, just snapped. There it is. So those are the two bits. So we're going to have to replace that. And this one here, I'm really struggling to get off. I've got it a bit off, but can't get it all the way. I took a bolt, a different one, in fact the one from the other side, and I've wound that all the way down and all the way up, and I've had some movement on this, but what I can't do is, because the top one moves more easily and I don't have a third bolt the same size, I can't get that to lock more tightly than this. And although I've got some movement of this by clamping it, it's now just won't come any further. But you can see how loose it has got. So I have covered it in penetrating oil again, and rather than break it, if I can get it off I will do. So I'm going to leave it for another day or so and give it another go. I'm quite pleased actually that that's come off, because on this side, because I can then start tidying up the bumpers. Okay, so we've been shopping to get some parts for the bumpers, and so we have our bumpers here, front and back. We've got the overriders as well over here, so we've got our bumpers. I haven't been able to get these brackets, this bracket and this bracket off yet. They're just so rusted solid. But these are for converting over here. We've got these ones for the rear and these ones here for the front bumpers. And so these front bumpers, if I can go, will go on like that. So we've got the 2 bolts there. And those 2 bolts come in here. Okay, so they fit on one here and one here. Okay, and so I need to create a hole in here for it. This all gets cut off along here, and this bracket here gets cut back for the grill to go in. Okay, so that's the idea there. Alright, so if we look at these, so this has a fixing in there. I've got one there, but I haven't got one here, I don't think. I might have one. No, I don't, because this doesn't have. No, so I need to buy fixing for the front here for it. Okay. Then the overriders go on through this hole here. No, through this hole here. Where is it? Oh, maybe the overrider goes through there. In which case I do have that one for here. Yes, overrider goes through here, obviously. You can see the marks. So overrider goes through here. So I'm okay here and here. But I don't think I have it for the other side. So I need at least one for over there, of these smaller ones. And I'm going to have to cut this off. Okay. And these ones fit on like that. So it goes on there and up here. Okay. Now you'll remember I managed to undo at least some of this and break some. So I need at least one for here, for one that I broke. But these are the ones that I got off, which have been in a de-rusting thing for the last 2 days, and I'll give them a scrape to see if they've actually come out any better. But they're pretty, well, actually maybe with a bit of wire wheel now, they're a bit better, but they're pretty bad shape. And so I might be better off just buying new overrider and mounting bolts front and back. And then over here we've got the grill. Very disappointed actually that this didn't come with any fixing bolts for it, but it didn't, so I'm going to have to have a look at how to fix it and see what I need to buy for that. So with that thought in mind, what we're actually going to do with this bumper, I'm going to stop trying to get these off. I'm going to cut them off because I'm not getting anywhere. and I'm going to order new fixings, and so we will clean up the rust on here, and with wire wheel first, get rid of the muck, then we'll do rust converter, and then we'll paint it silver on the inside to just tidy this all up, and then we'll use new fixings to fix it to the car. So that's what we're going to do there. So we're going to have to order those bits, and if we got old ones we can just hold on to them as spare. So that's what we're going to do with that. So we're going to go and order those, so that by the time I got it cleared up, hopefully I'm not waiting too long for it to arrive. Right, I just burnt my finger picking that up. So we ended up cutting those bolts off the bumpers, and we're going to stick some of that furniture into my de-rusting thingy. Here's just so you got comparison, these ones went in earlier. These are the ones that I've showed you previously, so they do come out a bit better, and I think with a bit of a wire brush and stuff those will come out okay. So we're going to get them in even if I don't use them again, because I've ordered a fitting kit for both the front and the back. Even if we don't use them, it would be nice to have them nicely cleaned up and stuff. So this is the one bracket which I just cut out, and I'll put these to the side. And where's the other one? Oh, and there's the other bracket which had already had a big cut across it when I got it. So we'll put those to the side if they're needed for something at some point, but I don't think so. And so we're going to now take the lights out of the overriders, and then we're going to wire brush everything, and then put some rust converter on them. So that's the next step. So that's what it looks like with about a third of it wire brushed, and there you can see what the rest of it still looks like. I'm not really getting anything more out of here, so this is at this point is where I'm going to start placing the rust converter on it. I'm going to do a silver paint on the inside, which, you know, it's not chrome, won't be as nice, but it'll protect it and it'll keep it going. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I've cleaned them up pretty well, and good thick layer of rust converter to pick up the rest. I could not get these the little lights off, and they're really rusted on, and my screwdriver was spinning on the screw. The bolt at the back just completely rusted the nut. So rather than break them so that I just can't use them at all, I decided to just apply the rust converter directly without brushing it down first. I won't get as good a finish, but we'll get somewhere with it. And so that's those. I should have two more overriders, which I haven't done. I've got two for the front somewhere. They're hidden under the car. What do they look like? These are in pretty good condition though, because these are the newer ones. So 1 and 2. Yeah, so I don't need to worry about those. Good. So we're just waiting. We're just going to leave that to dry now, and then we'll apply a primer and then some industrial silver paint, which I think is what has happened here. This is how I bought them, but that looks like that's just silver paint on the inside. So that's what we're going to do. Good. Okay, so the bumpers have had some grey primer, just a single coat. They were nice and purple, so the rust proofing stuff The rust converters work nicely. This is on the inside obviously, and so now they're going to get some silver paint. And there we have one coat of silver paint on. We'll get a second coat on in about half an hour. It's a bit too cold to be painting right now, but we'll get a second coat on and consider that preserved, shall we say. So that should be okay, at least for a few years. Okay, we're going to look at installing, at least temporarily, the rear bumper. We're going to start with the rear because I think it'll be easier than the front. And I have been worrying a bit about how to do this and how difficult it was, but I think the rear is going to be easier. And once I've done that, I know what I need to fix at the back here. So, what do we have? Well, if we look at our bumper here, we've got brackets. So we've got two brackets, and they fit on to the bumper like that, and then they go in here, and they fit in there and are bolted up. Oops, they go in here, okay, and they're bolted on in there. Alright, so that looks easy enough to do. Now, so how are these bolted on? Well, you've got, for the side, you've got something that looks like that. Okay, so this goes through, fits on over here. Alright, I actually went and bought some new ones for it, so we've got a nice new set of hardware to do that. Problem is, these are not long enough to go through the overrider and bolt through, and so I need the overrider bolts. Now you'll remember I've got one still, but the other one I had to cut, so I've only got one. So I'm going to temporarily install it without the overriders and have a look at that, and then see about ordering more. The other thing that I've got is these. Okay, and these are little corner units that go under here like that, I think. Alright, to square it off, but I'm going to get it all in first. I'm going to get the bumper in first, then look at how that's meant to go in afterwards. So we'll start by fixing the hardware onto the bumpers and the brackets. We'll put it up and then we'll come back and have a look. Okay, so this is proving a little harder than expected. These bolts, which came with it, came with these nuts. And that's not very effective, so I have these M10s, which appear to be about the right size. So I'm going to try those on to see if that fits close enough, at least temporarily. So that's a very temporary installation. So what have we got here? I used an old edge bolt for here. You can see how rusty it is, and that's after it's been cleaned up. On this side, well, this isn't actually fitted in. This is an old overrider bolt which I can't bolt on. But it actually goes on quite easily. Ooh. So we saw the two bolts here. One of them is, and you're upside down now, but one of them is just here. Same on the other side, inside the boot, and then one directly underneath. So I actually think it looks better. I don't think I will put the overriders on. I think it looks better without. So what I need to do is get a couple of these to do that. So I shall put that on my list. Shame about those. And then these bits here, this white comes off. It's metal underneath, and so these need to be screwed on underneath. So they get screwed on there like that. Okay, but they're silver plated or chrome or whatever to give the finish. So so we're going to order some of these for this end, and we will do that after we've looked at the front end. So it's not fixed all the way in at the moment, but that's actually, you know, from a side point of view, comes together quite nicely. And same from this side. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do it like that with bumpers and pull it up like that. Now I'm just looking at my Triumph as well, and it clearly sits out a bit further on there, so I don't know if I've done something wrong here, you know, like put it on upside down or something, but that looks like it's the right fit to me. So yeah, well, we'll have a little look at some images, but that looks about right. So as a temporary measure, I think we're going to do that. Okay, we're going to have to take a better look at this electric. So I've got the side lights on at the moment. That one's working. This comes on. This comes on. I've only got 2 working bulbs, so I haven't got them underneath. But this one's gone off. And around the front, this one's working, but that one isn't. So that's not quite right. And then the next thing that's not quite right is on this side here, I've got 2 proper connections. Over here, this wire is loose. Okay, so now if I take this out, you'd expect that bulb to go off, but it doesn't. It stays on. Interestingly, it stayed on this side as well this time. Whereas if I take this out, oh, now this one's gone off. Whereas before, when I pulled this out, there we go, look at that. So this one is not working, both connected. This one is working. Have I put those in the wrong way round or something? Maybe I've got the earth and the power the wrong way round. If I pull this out, right, let's try pulling this one out. It's easier to get. Right, anyway, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here, because I would expect, you know, that if these 2 are connected, this works and has no impact on this. That doesn't appear to be the case. So, and the only thing I've done over here on this is I earthed this on the bolt behind there, and that might be causing a problem for some reason. So I'll take that off again and check, and then I'll come back to these. Okay, so you'll see I've got both of these lights working. I disconnected this earth. If you watch, when I connect that up and earth it, this one gets brighter and this one goes out. If I take it off again, they both dim off a bit. You see? So that must mean somewhere I've got a Lucas special. Let's say a short circuit, I think. I don't know. Oh, bloody electrics, eh? And I still can't work out what's happened over here. But I have very little power getting through over there, that's the thing. So, I don't know. I disconnected this cable. which was preventing it which wasn't connected before. That's not made any difference. I suppose I could try, there's another earth here that I connected up, I could try disconnecting that and see if that makes any difference. Should just be an indication of even more problems around the earth. Oh, look at that, so I disconnected that other earth and this one goes off. So this is the other one. No, okay. Oh. Where do I have it earthed in here? Ah, okay, so it's when I earth it on there. What happens if I... Well, I'm... Right, side lights are meant to be on at the moment. Now none of them are working. Front or back. And I don't know what I did to change that. They just suddenly stopped. Maybe the fuse has gone. Right, so that's what we'll look at. Bloody hell. Okay, so I tracked the issue down to a loose connection in the fuse box. As you can see, those both working now. And this is the bit that's confusing me now, is if you look, this is the one where if I was touching it before, everything wasn't coming on. That now gets everything nicely lit up. And the other one doesn't. So I'm very confused. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reconnect both of those because they must need earthing. And that should give me all of these working. I still don't have my indicators working. I've got a new flasher unit. I tried it. The indicators didn't work, so I've got a different issue there. So I need to investigate that a little bit more. Although I might try it again now that I've got this connected up again. Right. I'm going to have to deal with that connection in the fuse box, which just came loose for some reason. I mean, it was tight, but the current wasn't flowing across it clearly. So I'm going to connect these back up, and I might have a little look at the fuses and things like that. And I need to get a couple more of these bulbs. I don't have anything that kind of size. And that should do for the rear bumper, and so we'll then move on to bumpers part 2, and we'll fit in the bit about the flashers whenever I work it out. So we're going to move on to front bumper now, and the more difficult install.